Welcome back guys to episode 3 of the top 10 sniping filters in FC25, where today I'll be showing you no matter what budget you have how to make a ton of coins and the best sniping filters to do it with. And all you've got to do to say thank you is drop a like down below if you enjoy the video, and if you're new around here just make sure to subscribe. If you do need any more trading or investment advice, of course join the free Discord, and if you do want to buy some coins, well, do you want the best team in FC25? Yeah baby! Do you want to be able to buy players like this or this and not be stuck with a team like this? Oh! Then you need to head over to skycoach.gg, select the amount of coins or which weekend league boost you'd like, make sure to pop in pro recall at checkout, and enjoy your new team. Not a great start when the game crashes on me for putting an injury card on Mbappe. Now we like to include all budgets and obviously all types of sniping filters. We do bidding filters as well in these videos. So if you have a look at the manager leagues right now, there are a few more popular leagues. You can kind of get an idea of it by going across obviously on the gold rare section. Now unfortunately we can't filter these by their rarity, so you do have to pick the leagues. Now if you head over to Liga F, what you will find is these ones are a little bit more expensive than your base standard. Now what is a little bit frustrating about these filters is they do reset every time you snipe. So what is best to do, of course, is to use this as a bid. So we've got 500 here. We can pick that one up. We can instantly sell that on for 650 or 700 coins. So we'll list that up immediately. Now when we back out, unfortunately, it's going to remove the filter, which is a little bit silly. I feel like that's just an error in the system. I don't actually think that's intentional, but we can scroll back down, pop onto Liga F, and an easier way of actually doing these ones and the one to make more profit is to just max price this at maybe 450 coins. So you're going to get kind of anyone that you can really make profit on. We can bid all these to 350, and of course you're not going to win every bid. That is how it works with bidding. You will win a few here and there. If we bid up to 400, we're kind of more guaranteed. It's just whatever you have. You know, if you have 3,500 coins, you're better off bidding 10 at 350. If you have a little bit more, maybe bid at 400 to give yourself a better chance. For the next one, we're going to need playstyle plus on. You're going to go for Centurions, and we're just going to find the minimum. Now the reason we need playstyles plus on is because there are far cheaper cards with no playstyles, so this is going to kind of regulate the cards that are coming up. We've got a few Kokes there. We want to be a bit careful picking those up on the very bottom end. We want to make sure that we are making profit. You can see there are other cards here. We've got Moreno, we've got Koke there as well. So 85, same league, does make a filter a little bit more easy to judge the price on. So at 15k, we've got a ton coming up. I would say this 14 is absolutely a snipe. We're going to sell them up for 15k. It's 250 coins profit. Very easy profit, albeit there is a lot of cards up. So you want to get that sold very quickly. You can see there's a lot there at 15, so we don't want to be stuck in this trade at any sort of point, because if he goes down, you're not in a good position. So you might want to bid at 13,750 and below. Obviously we've missed that one there, but that was actually quite a fast snipe from me. Maybe I'm getting my groove back. Any of you who've been watching the sniping videos lately, I've been fumbling a lot, I'll be honest. That has just been, and you see it, it's not even like I'm getting beat really well. I'm just fumbling a lot of the snipes. I mean, that was close, and that was a 12,500, so you would have made a good bit off of that. So next, we're just going to go for Centurions and Bundesliga. You've got Tar, you've got Muller, and you've got Emre Can. So a nice selection of players. Now, obviously, Muller is a little bit more expensive than Can, so you've got a little bit of a gap there, 30 to about 60k. Tar, a little bit more expensive than both of them, so he's kind of levels above in that sense, but we can get him in another filter later. He could come up. It's just very unlikely that you're going to be securing a good snipe on him. Now, looking for the minimum for Emre Can, we've got here around 20, I'd say 28k seems to be what we could sell him at. Maybe we could even get him going at around the 30,000 coin mark, judging on how many cards are here. So realistically, EA tax on that, you kind of want to pick up, I would say, 27 is probably the best point to be picking him up in order to make a good profit. Anything under is obviously ideal. You can see that the card has potential to drop, and it really depends on what comes out at 6. I would say these cards are pretty hard to pick up. I'd say they're pretty hard to pack as well. So the likelihood is the cards shouldn't drop too much. But if they release a big tradable SBC, they release a pack that gives you at least a good return, there might be a dent on this kind of lower end of the Centurions market, being that they've just come out. So obviously you've got to bear that in mind. We do obviously have Weekend League, which will hopefully put a little bit of a more supply on the market, but also means we want to get in and out of these trades very fast. Now, of course, we can do compare price with this one, and it is going to work very easily. And hopefully, you know, we might see a Muller, we might see a Tar, but on the bottom end, we are just looking for a nice little 26 on a Chan so we can make a decent bit of profit. Oh, we got one. That was a poor snipe as well. We actually managed to snag one there. That's decent. So he's got a shadow on. I don't think that's going to make a huge difference to the price, if I'm completely honest. I'm going to pop him up for, we'll do 30. Oh, we won't do 100. We'll pop him up for 30k. I mean, he might go for a little bit more of a shadow, but we don't want to risk losing coins. Now, also in this filter, if you want to make it a little bit more broadened or another league, we can just go German, and Centurion's German is also going to bring up the likes of Schürrle. So we've also got, if we pop this to 40,000 coins, Schürrle, and you're also going to have Chan on there as well. So you can kind of flick between these two, and that's also going to be a useful filter. So 3 filters down. Now, if we go over to centre backs for these, with a minimum of 121k, and we set the max to around 170, of course, you've got Tar on the filter, who you've also got a little bit more expensive as it stands, is Renard. Now, she's at 300k. Of course, if you pick her up, it's simply going to be someone trying to put her up for maybe 270. When her price drops a little bit, they put her up for 170. You've banged a good snipe. Or similar current scenario, they try lift the price up. They go from maybe 305. They actually go 150, something like that. People make a lot of mistakes. It's very, very easy to get big cards on that kind of scenario. So Tar is realistically a 170 right now. That's kind of the bang on price for him. 10% of that is 17k. Half of that is going to be the EA tax, which is about 8.5. We'll go down to, I'd say 155 would be the most I'd want to spend on him. There is obviously potential all these cards can move in the market. They could go up, they could go down. If they go down, we don't want to lose coins. If he goes down to 168, we're still making a couple K profit on that, which is obviously what we want. So you just want to be a bit careful with where you're picking these up. Of course, if you don't have any luck with the standard sniping, we can do compare price. Basically, all we need for Tar is for someone to mistakenly go from, you know, instead of putting him up for 166, they put him up for 146 or 156, and that would be a snag for us. So I'd be happy to pick up a 156 if we're doing compare price. Hopefully, we can get a nice little snipe on him. It is one of them situations where you just got to spend a bit of time. You're making more coins per snipe, so rather than needing like, you know, 100 an hour to make a load of coins as you do on some of the lower end ones, you need like 10. If you get 10 tar snipes in an hour, making 8 to 9k, you're making near 100k in an hour from 10 snipes, which is really easy. And of course, if you get one that maybe makes you 20k, all of a sudden you've made a ton of profit off that one snipe, which you don't get with a lot of the cards. We've missed a 150. We've missed a 150. I feel like if we'd have been sniping that and that had come up, I would have got it. But it's because I have, with a compare price, you have to make sure that he fits into the pricing that you're happy to buy for. A little bit gutted that we've missed that there. I wouldn't say it was slow sniping from me. I just have to look at the price before we made the snipe. Gutting, but it is what it is. Now, before we do continue to go up and up and up in the height of the prices, we do want to quickly just pay homage to one of my favorite filters from last year, Goalkeeper, Premier League, and La Brazil. We can just go up to, I think, probably, it's probably a bit more than, who we got to 10 to? Really? Edison's that cheap? Wow. He's actually one of the best keepers in the game, so I don't know how he's that cheap. But Edison and Allison hit on this filter together. Obviously, Allison, a little bit more expensive being that he is an 89 this year. Edison, I feel like they should be the same rating. I'm not going to lie. I feel like Edison just gets taxed because he's a city keeper, probably doesn't receive as many shots on the reg as Allison does, but I do think we should see him with a better card. I assume at some point he'll probably get some sort of non-performance based card, because they do like to give Edison a special card. Probably realistically going to sell him on for like 17k, I'd think, on this one. EA tax on 17k roughly is about 900 coins. It's probably the easiest way to work it out. A little bit less than that. So at 16k, we're making not really enough. I'd say 15,750 and below is where we want to be on this one. Obviously, if we pick up an Allison, we are absolutely laughing. If I could just speed up my sniping, I would have got that one there. So, come on, that was bad. Oh, we managed to get it. I don't know how we've landed that, but you can see a lot of people moan about like bots and stuff. That was slower than a human, and I've managed to do it. So it's definitely still possible. You've just got to be trying to snipe. Now, the next step for us is the Centurion's icons. We have a few filters on these, and obviously this is the next step in pricing. We will go back to the regular cards in a moment, but you got Van Nistelrooy on the kind of lowest of the low ends. If we go up to, I think, 390, there are a couple more. So you've got Crespo here, you've got Loudrop, not really much more expensive than Van Nistelrooy. We've got the 3 of these, I think, are the cheapest. We're probably due more coming out as like a mini release, so I do expect that there will be also more cheap cards. Now, Nistelrooy, I think he goes for 280. We got 262 on a couple of them. I reckon we can pick one up at like 240. I'm not going to lie. I reckon there's a 240 out there. Now look, 262, pretty damn low. If we go for 262 on a compare price, I think we've got a good chance of getting something pretty crazy. You've got to be careful though, because we don't know how much these cards are really worth. We don't know how low their price is possibly going to go. I mean, if we look at the card, just to get a gauge, he's 4-star, 3-star. It's not bad. He doesn't have, if he had Aerial Plus, I feel like this card would be going crazy. Because he's not got Aerial Plus, he just doesn't get the same sort of respect that an Aerial Plus card would get. You saw there as well, I think we are winning, or have won some of those cards we bidded on at the start, which is very ideal. And see, I can even drink my Coke while doing the X and B method. One of them's gone already. We got a 260. I want like a 255. 255. Sell it to 80. 280 EA tax is 14k. So I'm just trying to think. Actually, that would be all right. That's fine. We can sell this one at 280 and we make 6,000 coins. That's actually not bad at all. Let's get that one lifted. 280, quick time. That is a nice little profit. 6,000 coins. Also, people have bought up all the other cheaper ones on the market. So we actually should be pretty golden. I mean, there's a few on that lower bit, not really where we'd want them to be, but I still think we can make a killing off that. I think 260 is a good price to buy them at. Worst case scenario, we can try and sell a little bit lower and make a few thousand coins less, but we're not making miles less and we're not losing coins, which is exactly what we want. Now for the next one, you are going to need a few more coins. I don't actually know the exact numbers on this, so we're kind of winging it with this one. I believe midfielder, if we go to 600k, yeah, there's no one there. So I believe we can go down a little bit further. We'll see where it caps out, where it brings someone else into the mix. So we basically, midfielder, we're looking at the likes of Bruno Fernandes. And we're also going to be looking at the likes of, if I just scroll up a little bit, oh, evolution. That's why there's no one. Brilliant. We've, at least we've switched on a little bit there. So Muller, his max is 380. So Muller's max is 380. So we put this minimum to, I'd say just 400 easy. 750 as the max. We got Bruno and we got Modric. So both of these, very, very nice cards. Can't imagine there being packed an awful ton, which also means we can make an absolute snag. So EA tax on, we'll say it's basically 700k. It's near enough. So EA tax is going to be about 35k. Now, how much does Modric actually go for? What, 680? 680. So in order to make profit on this, we need to 35k off roughly, brings us down to 645. This guy up at basically 640 or below. So if we can get him at like, I'd say 630 is probably the mark you want to be sniping at. Obviously, it's a lot cheaper than his standard card. Bear in mind, Bruno is, I think, 710, which means if we can pick up Bruno at like 650, that's also going to be a good snipe. So both of them, similar prices. Obviously, Bruno at 650 is an absolute buy. Modric at, I'd say 635, 640 is acceptable, but it's just simply not going to be that much profit. You're only getting like 10k and you're putting down quite a lot, being that it's such a high budget filter. So you have to bear that in mind. Nothing, I mean, 4 have just instantly gone on the market. I feel like that says a lot about what EA's playing with right now. But let's pop it down to 650. See if we get any bites, any Brunos coming up, any Modric's coming up. See what's there. See if we can make a little bit of a killing. And then of course we'll move on to the next filter if they are duds. Now the next one is going to be Foot Heroes, and then we've got an absolute banger to finish off. This is a filter, to be fair, you guys will have remembered from last year. Prem, CDM. We're looking at the likes of Ramirez and Torre. So this one, I mean, the fact that there is only like 6 cards on the market is crazy. I do remember actually having Ramirez at 800k, selling him pretty much the next day. He's not actually that good. I'll be dead honest. I don't actually think he's that good of a card, but the price hike because of links and things like that has been crazy on a lot of these heroes and a lot of these icons. So what you want to do on here, your X and B, and I'd say we try and sell this guy probably around the, I mean, there's not really any under the 990 mark. So you could go for 960 is probably fair. Obviously EA tax on 960 is about 50k. If you can pick them up at 900, anything that starts with 900 or that has an 8 at the start, you are absolutely making a killing on. So if you go from here just to snipe down, now obviously if you do compare price at 950 and a Torre comes up, you're making a killing. And imagine someone listed Torre at 955 and you missed it because you're sniping at 900. So you might want to do compare price, but either way there's a killing to be made. Now finishing off with one of the ridiculous filters that we've got from this promo is simply Center Mid and Centurion's Icon. These guys are literally like bang on the same price, basically a mil, right? And they're actually a very easy filter, and also they're not very desirable cards, either of them. No one, and I don't mean that as like they're bad cards. It's just you get Schweinsteiger and you're kind of like, oh, like I wish it was, you know, someone else. You know, there's loads of other, you know, is there another 89 that I can see I'd rather have? I'd rather have Campbell, who's 87. I'd rather have Van der Sar, who's also 89. You know, there are other cards who even, you know, arguably cheaper cards that I would rather have than Schweinsteiger full stuff. I just don't think Schweinsteiger is that enjoyable to use in game. It might be that this one is the exception to the rule, but regardless, we can make a lot of profit of him and Foudy. I've used Foudy's base card. She's not bad. but nothing to write home about. Obviously at 900k, EA tax is 45. So here we'd been making a measly sort of 5k. You'd probably want to push it down to realistically 841, and that's kind of where you can sit and make a decent amount of coins off of these cards. And of course, the more you sit here and snipe, the more promos they release at 6 o'clock, the more chance you have. And the other thing you need to do every single day, right? This channel releases videos, and some of you aren't here every day, so you need to subscribe so you don't miss any out.